Hi, this is Nick Williford and Manos Berlakis presenting case 216 for the Manual of Percutaneous Coronary Interventions. This is a case showing a large perforation. The patient was sent for PCI of an LAD lesion that was thought to be complete. However, on contralateral injection, we don't really see any collaterals going to the LAD. And when an undergrade injection was performed, there is a severe lesion in the mid-LAD, but it is a subtotal lesion with undergrade flow. There is a previously placed stent into the mid-LAD. And these are different projections illustrating the LAD lesion. There is a tortuosity. There are some diagonal branches originating proximal to the lesion. And these are the hemodynamics at baseline, which were fairly okay with the blood pressure in the 160s. Wiring this lesion was extremely challenging. We were unable to advance various workhorse wire as well as polymer guided wires like in Sion black. Quite often when there is a previously placed stent, one uses a looped wire to try to go through the stent instead of going through the stent struts outside the stents. However, doing that here, it was not successful. This is a different projection illustrating some of the challenges. This is a very tortuous vessel. On the cranial views, there was foreshortening of the lesion, but here on the caudal view, we see the severe turns into the mid-LAD. Also, we see that there are branches. There's a diagonal proximally, and there's a septal in the middle of the lesion. And those branches, as we will see, can really provide a problem when trying to advance a wire through the lesion. So we used a microcatheter and tried again different guide wires. We do see the severe lesion in the mid-LAD. We did try another knuckled Sion black guide wire. It seemed to go within the stent, but then it kept on getting stuck in the middle portion of the stent. Here's another microcatheter. Now it looks like we're outside the stent struts. So to prevent this, we did advance a guide wire in the diagonal branch, and then we did balloon dilations in the LAD proximal to the bend to make sure that the stent was well expanded and to minimize the risk of having equipment go outside the stent struts in this area. Again, try different balloons. And then we left the wire into the diagonal branch, used a Sasuke dual loop microcatheter, and tried again a polymer guided wire. And it seems to go down where the course is of a septal. And sure enough, when injecting, we confirmed that the guide wire is going inside the septal, which is encouraging. We're likely going within the vessel lumen within the previously placed stent in this occasion. So we advanced another microcatheter, this is a FineCross M3, and tried again. And this time, the guide wire, with some manipulation, seems to go through the lesion. And then as we're advancing, now the wire is freely going down the vessel. So we finally have successful wire crossing. One would assume that at this point, things will go very quick, but they did not. So we had very difficult time advancing any equipment through the mid-LAD. We ended up getting in a guide extension. This is a trap liner to prevent us from getting into the diagonal, because part of the problem here was that any equipment we were trying to advance down the LAD instead wanted to prolapse into the diagonal branch. So here we brought the trap liner, which provides some extra support, and we are close. Looks like the tip of the Corsair is very close to the end of the stent, but then it gets stuck and cannot get advanced any further. Multiple attempts, we spun the microcatheter. We can see we're pushing fairly hard, and that makes the guide extension push back. But despite all attempts, the microcatheter would not advance past the mid-LAD. We did try to increase our support, so we used a balloon again into the diagonal branch and tried different microcatheters. This is again a FineCross M3, but once again, it could not go any further. And now we have also some dissection in the mid-LAD next to the origin of the diagonal branch. We tried the MicroRx, which has good penetration power, but once again it gets close, but will not make it past the last few millimeters of the previously placed stent. We did an IVUS proximally as far as we could advance the IVUS to make sure we're within the vessel, and looks like we were within the vessel architecture. It looks like we were inside the stent, so we didn't go outside the stent, but again, this is the more proximal part of the vessel and the stent. When we look carefully at the course of the wire, it looks like the wire might have gone outside the stent in this distal portion of the stent, and that was probably why the microcatheters and the balloons would not go. And we tried not only microcatheters, but also Sapphires and Takeru balloons, and those would not go either. So it may be outside the previously placed stent, so we tried with another guide wire to advance in a different plane, but unfortunately we were unable to do so. So here we still have the wire down. The second wire seems to be extra plaque. Looks like we're dissecting, so this is not a good thing. And what can we do next? We looked again at the right coronary artery. Maybe now that we're compromising a little bit the LAD, we may have some better collaterals, but unfortunately there was no visible collateral coming from the PDA to the LAD, and we decided to use a laser. That was not a good decision. What happened after a few pulses is rapid hypotension. The patient essentially went into cardiac arrest. We started CPR. And this is what is going on. There's clearly a large perforation in the mid-LAD. We inflated the balloon, advanced the pericardial drain into the pericardium. This injection to the drain, confirming we're in the pericardium. And this was fairly dramatic. We did pull a large amount of blood, and we did autotransfusion. We gave back the blood through the femoral vein. The patient was intubated. But again, that was fairly dramatic. We kept on needing CPR to maintain some blood pressure. If CPR stopped, the patient remained asystolic. But then after we pulled enough blood, and then we were able to restore some undergrade circulation. But as we can see here, we do have a massive perforation. It's a very large perforation in the mid-LAD, right at the bend at the takeoff of this diagonal branch. So we reinflated this balloon, and we did an attempt to deliver a PK Papyrus stent, which, not surprisingly, could not be delivered, and in the process, the wires came back, and now they're floating. Retrospectively, after the patient went for surgery, which is what happened next, these wires were now in the pericardium. So we inflated the balloon that prevented the bleeding into the pericardium, and then sent the patient for emergency surgery. What the surgeons found was a large tear of the mid-LAD, which was repaired, and they also did a bypass of the LAD. The balloon remained up for a large part of the surgery. We did have some ST segment elevation, as expected, by occluding the flow into the LAD. The patient remained hemodynamically okay. And then after the bypass occurred, then the ST is resolved. The patient had a good blood pressure and had a recovery. This dramatic case provides several lessons. The first one is the challenges when you have tortuosity and stents. It is well known that tortuosity and calcium is a bad combination, but so is tortuosity and stents, as well, I would add, side branches next to the tortuous segment. Part of the problem here is that we had this diagonal branch coming right at the big bend, and most equipment wanted to prolapse into the diagonal branch. I suspect this is in part what happened with the laser as well. So tortuosity and side branches at the bends can really make it hard to advance equipment through those bends. One potential solution is to try to get a guide extension interwormed past the origin of those side branches, but even that was not good enough in this case. Number two, about balloon uncrossable cases. This is a unique case of balloon uncrossable. This wasn't a de novo plaque causing the issue. What we had here was a previous stent, and most likely what happened is our guide wire went outside the stent, and this was why we could not advance the microcatheters and the balloons through that area. What to do to prevent this? One can try to wire with a knuckled wire, which we tried, but we were unsuccessful. If one can stay inside the previously placed stent, that can provide a solution, but this was not feasible in our case. Another possibility is to try to get through and then cross this portion of the stent where the wire is outside, and this was our plan after we got the wire down, but unfortunately we were never able to advance a balloon, even a 1.0 Sapphire and a 1.5 millimeter Takeru, through that distal bend of the LAD. Third, when it comes to the complications, using laser here caused a very large perforation, and that perforation led to rapid tamponade. This required balloon occlusion, pericardiocentesis, autotransfusion. This perforation could not be covered with a covered stent. We could not deliver the stent past this bend. So eventually, this patient required emergency surgery, which is infrequent, but can happen in large coronary perforations like this one. Thank you.